How important, how important do you think being present is to your overall mental health? How important do you think being present is to your overall health? What if I told you it was extremely important? Maybe one of the most important things you could do to alleviate anxiety, anger, fear, frustration, and depression. This is because a majority of these things come from not being in the present. Many of our anxieties arise from being ashamed of our past or worried about our future. Same with frustration and fears. What is fear other than being worried about what's to come, which nobody can predict? We are not able to predict the future, and the past is set in stone. You cannot go back in time and change it. So when we dwell in these areas, anxiety, fear, and depression arise because there is nothing we can do about these areas. That's where being present comes into play. The present moment is where life happens. And it's this mere fragment of time that we have any control over. Every time you distract yourself with anxious thoughts of the past or future, you give up the present. And this would be forgivable if you had the power to change the past or the future, but you don't, regardless of how much you cry. The only moment of time you have any control over is right now. As you work to understand this, you'll be more careful with your time and more careful with your thoughts, not leaving them in the future where you have no idea what will happen, and not leaving them in the past where things cannot be changed. So how does this work? Staying in the present isn't as easy as we like to make it seem. So to stay in the present, you must first work on strengthening your mind, strengthening your focus, always returning to the present moment at hand. What is happening right now? Not what do I want to do later, not what I'm worried about later, not looking back at maybe embarrassing moments from the past, but focused on right now. I'm brushing my teeth. I'm focused on brushing my teeth. I'm focused on how clean my teeth are. And when I am focused on brushing my teeth, and all of my thoughts are on the action of brushing my teeth, not only will my teeth be cleaner and have the best cleanse they've ever had in their life, a little teeth bath, but my focus will not be hindered by anxious thoughts of the future or the past. Obviously, we can't always be 100% focused on what is directly in front of us. Our lives require that sometimes we look back to the past or plan for the future. But anything in obsession is not good. If you're going to be obsessed with the moment, be obsessed with the present, because this is where you hold your power. So what can you do right now? Well, the best thing you can do to start strengthening your mind is to practice mindful meditation. Sit in one spot, a comfortable spot. Take a deep breath in, and then begin to breathe normally, but focus on your breath. You feel your stomach getting larger, your lungs expanding. As you breathe in, as you breathe out, that air presses out. The goal of this meditation is to start clearing your mind. Thoughts will come in, and as long as you do not hold or give them any attention, they will go out. The moment a thought comes in and you focus on it, all of a sudden you are taken over by the emotion of that thought. And the thing is, the focus of most of these thoughts are things that you cannot do anything about. Once again, a lot of them pertain to the future or the past. So the goal in this mindful meditation is to see the thought and let it pass. Don't hold on to it. Don't give it any extra attention. Maybe there's a time where you need to give thoughts extra attention, but during this meditation, the goal is to start strengthening your mind so that as a thought comes, it does not grab hold of you and change your whole day. Because as we all know, all it takes is one thought to change our mood. For the worse or better, for better or for worse. So start with 5 minutes. Start with a very short time. It will be difficult. There's no doubt about that. But the more you do it, the easier it will be. And then you will realize in your daily life, when you start getting those intrusive thoughts or those negative feelings. Maybe you're berating yourself. You will have the ability to see the thought and let it pass. Once you start to master this, and in fact, I would say even after the first few times that you do it, you'll start realizing that you have more control over how you respond to your thoughts than you think. Your thoughts do not have to control you, as long as you do not give them focus. Here's an example. Some people stay up at night obsessing over the possible death of loved ones or even themselves. There is no point in doing this. No amount of thinking is going to stop the possibility that you are going to die or that a loved one may one day die. That's just a condition of living. You're going to die. So to obsess over this thought only affects your mood in the present moment. It may make you depressed, sad, angry. Once you start meditating for long enough and practicing strengthening your mind, these thoughts will come in, but you will now have the power to let them pass. And watch how fast the thought passes when you do this. As long as you don't give it attention, the thought can just boom. But our issue is that we give all of these thoughts too much attention. We're not living in the present, we're living in our head. And so these thoughts come, boom, we hold on to it, now we're sad, now we're angry. And sometimes we may be happy, which I'll let those thoughts slide and maybe linger a little more. But even lingering on those can lead to instability in the present. So here's your action items. Start recognizing when you're not living in the present and what kind of emotions come from that. Make a point to notice it. If you start worrying about the future and you notice it changes your whole mood, clock that. Because sometimes a sick man has to realize he's sick before he can find the correct cure. Sometimes we have to realize, all of our emotions are coming from these things that we can't control. I need to stay in the present where I do have control, and that's where I'll find my peace. So 1, start to recognize the influence that these thoughts about the past or future have on your present state. 2, start to strengthen your mind through meditation. And 3, start to apply what you've learned in meditation to your daily life.